The price of compassion. The recycled air aboard the Helios tasted like metal and memories. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the bridge viewport, watching the stars blur past as her ship cut through the void between systems. After 15 years of independent cargo running, she thought she'd seen everything the galaxy had to offer. She was wrong. The distress beacon caught her attention first, a weak pulse against the background radiation of space. Most captains would have ignored it. After all, distress calls in the outer rim usually meant pirates or worse. But something about this signal seemed different. Kai, analysis, she called to her ship's A. Signal appears to be of non-human origin, Captain, detecting unusual energy signatures consistent with Nixian technology. Sarah's interest peaked. The Nixians were a reclusive species known for their advanced biotechnology and strict isolation policies. Finding one of their ships this far from their territory was unprecedented. Life signs. 1. Very faint. Biological patterns are irregular. Sarah drummed her fingers against the console. The smart play would be to alert colonial authority and move on, but she'd never been very good at playing it smart. Plot an intercept course. The derelict vessel hung in space like a carved piece of obsidian. Its organic curves marked it unmistakably as Nixian design, but the hull showed signs of weapons fire. Sarah suited up and crossed the void via tether, her magnetic boots clicking against the alien ship's hull. The airlock cycled, revealing dimly lit corridors that seemed to pulse with bioluminescent veins. The air was thick with an odd, sweet scent. Sarah moved carefully, pulse rifle ready, following her suit's biosensor toward the life sign. She found the survivor in what appeared to be the ship's medical bay. A female Nixian lay curled on a growth pod, her silvery skin pallid, and her bioluminescent markings flickering weakly. But what caught Sarah's attention was the woman's swollen abdomen. The Nixian's eyes snapped open, solid black orbs that seemed to swallow light. Sarah felt a gentle pressure against her mind, like fingers brushing silk. Asterisk, please. Help us, asterisk. The telepathic voice was weak but clear. Sarah had heard rumors about Nixian abilities, but experiencing it firsthand was different. She approached slowly, hands raised. I'm Captain Chen of the independent vessel Helios. Are you injured? Asterisk, they hunt us. My children. They must not find them, asterisk. The Nixian's hand moved protectively over her belly. Who's hunting you? Asterisk, Genesis Corporation. They learned of my children's potential. They would use them as weapons, asterisk. Sarah's jaw tightened. Genesis Corp, the largest biotechnology company in human space, known for pushing ethical boundaries in pursuit of profit. Of course they'd be interested in enhanced Nixian abilities. What's your name? Asterisk, Lyra, asterisk. A sudden proximity alert blared through Sarah's comm. Kai's voice crackled with urgency. Captain, Genesis Corp vessel dropping out of FTL. Heavy cruiser class. Sarah swore under her breath. Can you walk? Lyra struggled to rise, her movements graceful despite her condition. Asterisk, barely, asterisk. Then let's move. My ship's right outside, but we need to hurry. The journey back to the Helios was tense. Sarah half-carried Lyra across the void between ships, hyper-aware of the approaching corporate vessel. They barely made it inside before the first warning shot lit up space where they'd been moments before. Kai, get us out of here. Maximum burn. The Helios engines roared to life. Sarah strapped Lyra into the medical bay's crash couch as the ship accelerated hard. The Genesis cruiser pursued, but Sarah hadn't survived 15 years of independent operations without learning a few tricks. She pushed her ship toward a nearby asteroid field, threading through gaps barely wider than the Helios, while their pursuer was forced to go around. By the time the cruiser cleared the field, Sarah had already plotted their jump to hyperspace. As the stars stretched into lines around them, Sarah returned to check on her passenger. Lyra's markings pulsed with a stronger light now, and her telepathic voice felt steadier. Asterisk, you risk much for strangers, Captain Chen asterisk. Sarah shrugged, trying to ignore the way those black eyes seemed to see straight through her. Let's just say I'm not a fan of corporations thinking they can own people. Asterisk, my children will be unique, the first of their kind. A perfect blend of their father's genetic modifications and my natural abilities. Genesis Corporation would twist their gifts into weapons of war asterisk. Well, they'll have to get through me first. Sarah surprised herself with the fierceness in her voice. Get some rest. We're headed to a safe port where I have friends. We'll figure out our next move there. As she turned to leave, Lyra's voice echoed in her mind once more. Asterisk. The universe guides true hearts, Captain. Our meeting was not chance asterisk. Sarah didn't respond, but as she walked back to the bridge, she couldn't shake the feeling that she'd just committed herself to something far bigger than a simple rescue. The stars streaked past outside, carrying them toward an uncertain future, and perhaps humanity's first real test in the larger galactic community. Behind her in the medical bay, Lyra's twins stirred in their mother's womb, already aware on some level of the human who would change their destiny forever. Echoes of trust. The neon glow of New Singapore's undercity painted shadows across the Helios's hull. Sarah's safe port was a maze of forgotten maintenance docks, where credits bought silence and questions remained unasked. She'd smuggled plenty of cargo through here before, but never anything this valuable. Lyra stood at the viewport, her silvery skin reflecting the city's lights. In the 3 days since their escape, her strength had returned remarkably. The bioluminescent patterns flowing across her skin pulsed with renewed vigor, creating mesmerizing constellations that shifted with her moods. Genesis Corp has eyes everywhere, Sarah said, checking security feeds. We need to move you to a safer location. Asterisk, they are not the only ones watching asterisk. Lyra's mental voice carried an edge of concern. Asterisk, me people have noticed my absence asterisk. Sarah turned sharply. The Nixian Collective is looking for you too. Asterisk, they would not understand. My choosing a modified human as mate was controversial enough. These children, asterisk, Lyra's hands cradled her growing belly. Asterisk, they represent something many fear. Change asterisk. A warning chirp from the ship's console interrupted them. Sarah's fingers flew across the holographic display, face grim. Multiple ships entering orbit. Genesis Corp signatures. Asterisk, there is something you should know. Sarah asterisk Lyra's use of her first name caught the captain's attention. Asterisk, my children, they are aware. More than normal fetuses, they can sense things, communicate asterisk. As if in response to their mother's words, Sarah felt a gentle brush against her consciousness, different from Lyra's telepathic touch. Where Lyra's mental voice was like silk, this was like sunlight breaking through clouds, pure and filled with curiosity. That's them, Sarah whispered, amazed. Asterisk, they trust you. They sense your protective nature, your determination to keep us safe asterisk. Lyra's black eyes seemed to shimmer. Asterisk, it is rare for them to reach out to anyone but me asterisk. The moment was shattered by Kay's urgent alert. Captain, armed individuals approaching Dock 7. Corporate tactical patterns. Time to go. Sarah grabbed the emergency packs she prepared. There's a backup route through the maintenance tunnels. We can. She stopped as Lyra suddenly doubled over, gasping. The Nixian's markings flared brilliant blue. Asterisk, the children, they sense danger. Not just the corporations, something else, asterisk. The deck beneath them shuddered. Emergency lights flashed as multiple impacts registered across the hull. This wasn't a corporate tactical team, this was a full assault. Sarah made a split-second decision. Kai, initiate Protocol Phantom. Captain, that sequence will destroy the ship. Do it. 90-second delay. She grabbed Lyra's arm. Hope you're good at running. They fled through the maintenance corridors of the space station, Sarah leading them through a maze she'd memorized years ago, but never thought she'd need. Behind them, explosions echoed as the Helios' self-destruct sequence began, destroying any trace of their presence. Lyra moved with surprising grace despite her condition, but Sarah could sense her tiring. The twins' agitation pressed against her mind like a gathering storm. They needed sanctuary, and quickly. A figure stepped out of the shadows ahead, blocking their path. Sarah raised her pulse rifle, then froze as she recognized the face. Marcus. Her old friend and occasional business partner held up his hands. "Heard you needed help, Chen. My contact at traffic control spotted the corpse ships entering orbit. I don't have time to explain. Already got a ship prepped. Clean registry, untraceable," he grinned. "You can fill me in once we're safely in hyperspace." Sarah felt Lyra's mental probe brush past her, scanning Marcus. After a moment, the Nixian nodded. Asterisk, he speaks truth. His heart is clear, asterisk. They followed Marcus through a series of increasingly narrow passages. Sarah's old friend had clearly been busy. Security cameras turned away as they passed, doors opened without codes, and station security patrols were mysteriously absent from their route. The ship waited in a private dock, a sleek Corvette-class vessel with obvious military modifications hidden under civilian plating. Sarah recognized the design from her colonial fleet days. "She's called the Shadow Dance," Marcus said as they hurried aboard. "Not as homey as the Helios, but she'll get you where you need to go." As they lifted off, Sarah watched her beloved Helios disappear in a carefully controlled explosion that took out half the dock. 15 years of memories, gone in an instant, but looking at Lyra and feeling the gentle presence of the twins in her mind, she knew it was worth it. Asterisk, "You have sacrificed much for us," asterisk, Lyra observed. "Just a ship." Sarah managed a smile. "Besides, I always wanted to try something new." The Shadow Dance slipped past the corporate blockade using sensor bafflers that Sarah decided not to ask Marcus about. As they accelerated toward their jump point, she felt the twins' consciousness brush against hers again, stronger this time. Images flashed through her mind. Stars, distant worlds, and something else. A sense of purpose, of destiny. These children would change everything, and somehow, impossibly, they had chosen her to help guide them. Marcus watched from the co-pilot's seat as Sarah plotted their course. "So, want to tell me what kind of trouble you've gotten yourself into this time?" Sarah glanced back at Lyra, who had settled into one of the passenger seats, her markings now pulsing with a calm, steady light. "Would you believe me if I said we're about to help rewrite the future of human-alien relations?" Marcus chuckled. "With you involved? Absolutely." The Shadow Dance vanished into hyperspace, carrying its precious cargo toward an uncertain destiny. Behind them, in the chaos of New Singapore's undercity, corporate agents and Nixian observers alike found only cold trails and dead ends. Sarah Chen had disappeared into the black once again, but this time she carried with her the seeds of a revolution that would reshape the galaxy. Bonds beyond stars. The Shadow Dance drifted in the violet nebula of the Carina sector, its stealth systems rendering it nearly invisible against the cosmic backdrop. Inside, Sarah paced the bridge, her boots making soft sounds against the deck plating. 2 weeks had passed since their escape from New Singapore, and each day brought new challenges and new revelations. "They're getting stronger," she murmured, touching her temple. The twins' mental presence had grown from gentle brushes to clear communication, albeit in emotions and images rather than words. Even Marcus had begun to sense them, though not as strongly as Sarah. Lyra sat in the modified med bay, her silvery skin now rippling with complex patterns that seemed to dance in time with her children's thoughts. Asterisk, "They prepare for their arrival," asterisk, she communicated. Asterisk, "It will be soon," asterisk. Sarah felt a flutter of anxiety that wasn't entirely her own. The twins responded to her emotions now, creating a feedback loop that took conscious effort to control. She'd never imagined herself as a parent figure, let alone to telepathic alien children who weren't even born yet. Marcus entered the bridge, his usual easy smile replaced by concern. Long-range sensors picked up something. Multiple signatures converging on this sector. Genesis Corp, Sarah asked, already knowing the answer. And something else. The energy patterns, they're Nixian. Lyra's mental voice carried a trace of fear. Asterisk, the collective has found us. They will try to take the children to prevent what they see as contamination of our bloodline. Asterisk. Sarah's jaw tightened. Not happening. She turned to Marcus. How long until they reach our position? 3 hours, maybe 4. We could make a run for it, but... A sudden surge of emotion flooded Sarah's mind. Urgency, warning, protection. The twins were agitated, their consciousness pressing against hers with unprecedented force. She stumbled, catching herself on the console. Asterisk, Sarah asterisk, Lyra's mental cry was tinged with pain. Asterisk, it's time asterisk. Now, Sarah's voice cracked. They're coming now. Asterisk, they choose their moment. They understand more than we know. Asterisk. Marcus was already moving, prepping the medbay systems. Sarah helped Lyra from the bridge, trying to project calm despite her racing heart. The twins' emotions swirled around them all: excitement, fear, determination. The first contraction hit just as the proximity alerts began to wail. Multiple ships dropping out of hyperspace, Marcus called from the bridge. Genesis Corp heavy cruiser, 2 Nixian vessels, they're launching fighters. Sarah stood torn between the bridge and medbay until Lyra grabbed her hand. Asterisk, stay. The children, they need you here. Asterisk. The next hour passed in a blur of chaos. While Marcus executed evasive maneuvers that pushed the shadow dance to its limits, Sarah found herself caught in the most extraordinary birth in human history. Lyra's bioluminescent patterns had become a storm of light, filling the medbay with shifting colors that responded to each contraction. The twins' mental presence grew overwhelming. Sarah felt them reaching not just to her and Lyra, but outward, touching the minds of their pursuers. Through their eyes, she caught glimpses of the corporate soldiers' thoughts, their orders, their intentions. They're going to try to disable our engines, she called to Marcus. Port-side attack incoming. How did you? The ship rocked with impact. Never mind, adjusting course. Lyra screamed, both vocally and mentally. The lights throughout the ship flickered as a wave of psychic energy rippled outward. Sarah felt something fundamental shifting in the fabric of reality around them. The first twin emerged in a flash of silver light, a girl, her skin a perfect blend of human and Nixian characteristics, with bioluminescent patterns that shimmered like starlight. Her brother followed moments later, the combined cry sending another psychic shockwave through the ship. Through her neural link with the children, Sarah felt their first thoughts coalesce into coherent patterns. But more than that, she felt their power. The twins reached out with their combined abilities, touching every mind within range. On the pursuing ships, both human and Nixian crews suddenly found themselves experiencing each other's memories, feelings, and fears. The corporate soldiers felt the Nixians' terror of losing their cultural purity. The Nixian pursuers understood the humans' desperate drive for advancement and survival. In that moment of shared consciousness, weapons powered down. Fighters returned to their bays. The chase simply stopped. Asterisk. They understand now. Asterisk. Lyra's thoughts were weak, but filled with joy. Asterisk. My children show them what I always knew, that our peoples are stronger together than apart. Asterisk. Sarah cradled the newborns, marveling at how their tiny hands gripped her fingers. Their eyes, when they opened, were neither human nor Nixian, but something new, swirling pools of silver light that seemed to contain universes. Asterisk protector, asterisk their combined thoughts touched her mind, clear as crystal. Asterisk wide, mother asterisk. I'm not, Sarah began, but Lyra cut her off. Asterisk you are what they say you are, what you've always been meant to be, the bridge between worlds asterisk. Marcus's voice came over the comm, filled with wonder. "Sarah, you need to see this. The Genesis Cork ships, they're standing down. The Nixian vessels are hailing us. They're requesting dialogue." Sarah looked down at the twins, who gazed back with ancient wisdom in their infant eyes. They had chosen this moment for their birth not just for their own safety, but to force both sides to see the truth, that the future belonged not to one species or another, but to those willing to embrace change and understanding. "Tell them we'll talk," Sarah said, feeling the twins' approval wash over her like a warm wave. "But first, we need to give these little ones names." Asterisk, they have chosen their names, asterisk Lyra sent, her mental voice filled with pride. Asterisk Nova and Orion, light and hunter, unity and strength asterisk. As the shadow dance hung in space between the now peaceful fleet, Sarah felt the weight of destiny settling around them. These children would reshape the galaxy, not through force or fear, but through understanding. And somehow, a simple cargo captain had become their chosen guardian, protector, and guide. The twins drifted to sleep in her arms, their shared dreams touching her consciousness with visions of a future where boundaries between species blurred and old hatreds faded like stars at dawn. It was a future worth fighting for, worth living for. And it was just beginning. Legacy of two worlds. The diplomatic station Harmony Point lived up to its name, at least on the surface. Rotating slowly in neutral space between human and Nixian territories, it served as the perfect location for the unprecedented negotiations taking place within its crystalline halls. 3 months had passed since the twins' dramatic birth. Nova and Orion grew at an astonishing rate, already appearing to be toddlers. Their silver-toned skin shimmered with ever-changing patterns, and their abilities grew stronger each day. Sarah watched from her position against the conference room wall as Nova levitated a data crystal, making it dance through the air, while Nixian dignitaries and human officials looked on in amazement. The child's laughter echoed both audibly and mentally through the chamber. "They fear what they don't understand," asterisk Orion's thoughts touched Sarah's mind. The boy sat quietly beside his sister, but his awareness extended throughout the station, monitoring the thoughts and intentions of everyone aboard. "That's why we're here," Sarah replied softly. "To help them understand." The twins had become the center of a galactic diplomatic crisis. Their very existence challenged both human and Nixian prejudices. The Genesis Corporation had been forced to publicly disavow their pursuit of the children, though Sarah knew better than to trust their retreat. Lyra stood at the conference table, her voice carrying authority as she addressed the gathered representatives. "My children represent not a dilution of our species, but an evolution. They bridge the gap between our peoples in ways we never imagined possible." A Nixian elder, his skin patterns indicating his high rank, leaned forward. "They are powerful, yes, but they are also dangerous. Such abilities in one so young." Asterisk we choose our own path, asterisk Nova's mental voice resonated through everyone's minds, causing several officials to start in surprise. The data crystal settled gently back onto the table. Asterisk we are neither weapon nor threat asterisk. Sarah felt a surge of pride. At 3 months old, the twins showed wisdom that put most adults to shame. Their accelerated growth had brought with it an understanding of their unique position in the galaxy. The conference room doors slid open, admitting Marcus. His expression made Sarah straighten immediately. He made his way to her side, speaking in a low voice. "We've got trouble. Station sensors just picked up multiple ships dropping out of hyperspace. They're running dark, but the energy signatures match Genesis Corp's Black Ops division." Sarah's hand moved to her concealed pulse pistol. "How many?" 3 corvettes, 1 heavy cruiser. They're good, spoofing their transponders to look like merchant vessels. Asterisk, they come for us. Asterisk Orion's mental voice was calm. Asterisk, they believe if they cannot have us, no one should. Asterisk. Nova stood, her silver eyes fixing on the conference room's viewport. Asterisk, they underestimate us. Brother Asterisk. Everyone remain calm, Sarah announced to the room. Even as security alerts began to sound throughout the station, the twins are in no danger. The Nixian elder rose, his patterns flashing with anger. "You promised them safety, human." "And they are safe," Lyra interjected, moving to stand between her children. "Watch." The twins joined hands, their bioluminescent patterns synchronizing into complex geometries. Sarah felt their combined consciousness expand outward, touching every mind aboard the approaching ships. But this was different from their previous displays of power. Through her connection to the twins, Sarah witnessed what they were doing. They weren't just reading thoughts, they were sharing truth. Every Genesis Corp operative, from the commanders to the lowest ranks, suddenly experienced the full weight of their actions. They felt the twins' desire for peace, their love for both their human and Nixian heritage, their hope for a future without fear. More than that, they felt their own suppressed doubts, their buried questions about corporate ethics, their hidden desires for something more meaningful than profit and power. On the station's tactical display, the corporate vessels halted their approach. Then, one by one, they began to change course. Asterisk, they understand now, Asterisk Nova announced, her mental voice tinged with satisfaction. Asterisk, some of them will stay to protect us, Asterisk Orion added. Asterisk, their hearts have changed, Asterisk. Sarah watched in amazement as two of the corvettes broke formation, taking up defensive positions around the station. The remaining ships disappeared back into hyperspace, not fleeing, but departing with new purpose. The Nixian elder sank back into his chair, his patterns showing disbelief. Such power and such restraint. They could have destroyed those ships, yet they chose to enlighten instead. "Now you begin to understand," Lyra said softly. "My children don't need protection from the galaxy. The galaxy needs their protection from itself." Sarah felt the twins' consciousness brush against hers, warm with affection. Over the past months, their bond had grown beyond mere guardian and charges. They were family now, bound by something stronger than blood. Asterisk, the real work begins now. Asterisk Nova's thoughts carried images of future challenges, other corporations, fearful governments, those who would resist change. Asterisk, but we are not alone, Asterisk Orion added, sending a mental image of their expanding family. Sarah, Lyra, Marcus, the converted Genesis Corp crews, and now these diplomats who had witnessed their true nature. The station's lights dimmed briefly as the twins released another wave of their combined power, not to influence or control, but to inspire. Every person aboard Harmony Point felt a moment of perfect clarity, a vision of what could be if fear gave way to understanding. Sarah watched as human officials and Nixian elders began to really talk to each other, not just exchange diplomatic platitudes. The twins had given them all a gift, the ability to see beyond their differences to the shared dreams beneath. "Well," Marcus said, a smile tugging at his lips, "I guess this means we're going to need a bigger ship." Sarah laughed, feeling the twins' amusement echo in her mind. Their future would not be easy, change never was. But with Nova and Orion leading the way, humanity and the Nixians had a chance to become something greater than either could be alone. The legacy of two worlds would light the way forward, one transformed heart at a time. The rising storm. The research outpost on Europa hung like a jewel against the icy moon's surface. Originally a Genesis Corporation facility, it had been transformed into a sanctuary for others like Nova and Orion, children of both human and Nixian heritage who had begun appearing across the galaxy. Sarah stood at the viewport of the station's observation deck, watching the Shadow Dance dock alongside other vessels. In the 6 months since the Harmony Point incident, everything had changed. The twins, now appearing as young teenagers, had become beacons of hope for both species. Their coming, Nova's mental voice touched Sarah's mind. The ones who hide in shadows. Sarah turned to find both twins standing behind her, their silver eyes focused on something beyond normal sight. At 7 months old, they looked like 14-year-olds, their rapid growth finally beginning to stabilize. "Genesis Corp's board of directors?" Sarah asked, though she already knew the answer. Orion nodded, his bioluminescent patterns swirling with concern. Not just them. There are others, those who profit from division between our peoples. They gather their forces. Lyra entered the observation deck, followed by Marcus and several converted Genesis Corp officers who had become their most loyal allies. The Nixian woman's patterns pulsed with urgency. Our intelligence networks confirm it, Marcus reported. Genesis Corp has merged with 3 other megacorporations. They're calling themselves the Unity Preservation Alliance. Sarah snorted. Nice name for a group dedicated to keeping humanity and Nixians apart. Their fear burns bright, Nova observed, her silver eyes distant. They see their power slipping away as more of our kind are born, as understanding grows. The past months had revealed a startling truth. The twins weren't unique. Across human and Nixian space, more hybrid children were being born, each with their own unique gifts. It was as if Nova and Orion's birth had awakened something dormant in both species, opening the door to new possibilities. The Alliance has assembled a fleet, one of the former Genesis Corp officers said. Multiple capital ships, including their new neural dampening technology. They think they can suppress the children's abilities. They cannot dampen what they do not understand. Orion's mental voice carried a hint of amusement. Our power comes from both worlds, and neither. Sarah felt a familiar pressure building in her mind. The twins were about to share a vision. Their ability to show others possible futures had become one of their most powerful tools. The observation deck faded away, replaced by cascading images. Corporate boardrooms where old men plotted to maintain their power, secret laboratories working to weaponize fear, and vast fleets gathering in the darkness between stars. But beneath these shadows, Sarah saw something else. Points of light spreading across the galaxy, each representing a new hybrid child coming into their powers. How many? She whispered as the vision faded. Thousands, Nova answered, and more awakening each day. The bridge between worlds grows stronger. The Alliance will strike soon, Marcus said, studying tactical displays. They'll target this facility first, trying to capture as many of the children as possible. Sarah's hand tightened on her pulse pistol. Let them try. Violence is not the answer, Orion cautioned. But neither is inaction. We have seen another way. The twins shared a look that Sarah had come to recognize. They were forming a plan. Their mental powers had grown exponentially, but they always sought peaceful solutions first. What do you need from us? Lyra asked her children. Nova's patterns brightened. Gather the others. All of them. It's time for humanity and the Nixians to see the truth, not through our eyes, but through their own. A mass consciousness linking. Sarah's eyes widened. You're talking about connecting every mind in the sector. More than that, Orion's mental voice held determination. We will show them their own hearts, their own potential. The Alliance builds weapons to suppress our powers, but they cannot suppress hope. Over the next few hours, ships began arriving at the Europa facility, vessels carrying more hybrid children and their families, both human and Nixian supporters, even some corporate deserters who could no longer deny the truth they'd seen. The twins moved through the growing crowd, touching minds, preparing them for what was to come. Sarah watched with pride as Nova and Orion coordinated with the other hybrid children, their combined powers creating a web of consciousness that grew stronger by the minute. Long-range sensors are picking up Alliance signatures, Marcus called from his station. Multiple capital ships, support vessels. This is a full invasion fleet. Sarah looked at the twins, who stood calm amid the mounting tension. Whatever you're planning, now would be a good time. Fear not, Mother, Nova sent, using the title that still made Sarah's heart skip. The storm comes, but we are its eye. And in the eye of the storm, Orion added, truth becomes clear. As the Alliance fleet dropped out of hyperspace, weapons charged and neural dampeners humming, the twins raised their hands in perfect synchronization. Around them, dozens of other hybrid children did the same, their combined powers reaching out across the void. The storm was rising, but it would not break as their enemies expected. Change was coming to the galaxy, carried on waves of understanding that no weapon could suppress. And at its heart stood two children who had become so much more, bridges between worlds, guides to a future that few had dared to imagine. Sarah Chen, once a simple cargo captain, now stood ready to help that future be born. Dawn of unity. The void between Europa and the Alliance fleet blazed with energy, but not from weapons fire. Streams of consciousness, visible as ribbons of light to both human and Nixian senses, connected every mind in the sector. The twins stood at the heart of this psychic storm, their combined powers amplified by dozens of other hybrid children. Now, Nova and Orion's mental voices spoke as one. Everyone sees. Sarah gasped as the full force of the vision took hold. She saw through the eyes of Alliance admirals, corporate directors, and frightened soldiers. But more than that, she saw through their hearts. The neural dampeners aboard the Alliance ships sparked and died, overwhelmed not by force but by the simple truth they were never designed to suppress hope. Every person in range of the hybrid children's combined power experienced a moment of perfect clarity. Corporate executives felt the joy of hybrid children discovering their gifts. Hardened soldiers remembered their own dreams of a better future. Nixian purists understood the beauty of change and growth. But the twins didn't stop there. They showed everyone the future, not a single fixed path, but infinite possibilities. They revealed timelines where fear won, where humanity and the Nixians remained forever apart, their potential dimmed by artificial boundaries, and they showed timelines where cooperation led to achievements neither species could reach alone. Choose, the twins commanded, their mental voice reaching every consciousness. Not for us, but for yourselves, for your children, for all that could be. On the Alliance flagship's bridge, Admiral Helena Chen, Sarah's own sister, stood frozen as decades of corporate conditioning battled with newfound understanding. All these years, she whispered, we thought we were protecting humanity's interests. You were protecting the past. Nova's gentle thoughts touched her mind, but the future belongs to all of us. Sarah felt the moment her sister's resistance crumbled, followed by cascading changes throughout the Alliance fleet as crew members and officers alike recognized the truth they'd been fighting. The first Alliance vessel to power down its weapons was Helena's flagship. Others followed, like dominoes falling in reverse, fear giving way to possibility. Lyra stepped forward, her patterns blazing with pride as she watched her children reshape reality not through force, but through understanding. This is what we feared, she asked the watching Nixian elders. This power to unite rather than divide. The hybrid children began to lower their hands, but the connections they'd forged remained. Humanity and the Nixians had been given a gift, the ability to truly see each other, to understand their shared dreams and fears. In the aftermath, as former enemies became allies and old barriers crumbled, Sarah found the twins standing on the observation deck, watching the Alliance fleet now peacefully docked alongside their former targets. You knew, she said. From the beginning, you knew this was possible. Nova smiled, her silver eyes reflecting starlight. We knew the potential existed, but the choice had to be theirs. As it was yours, Orion added, turning to Sarah, you chose to help us before you knew what we could become. You chose love over fear. And now? Sarah asked, feeling the weight of change in the air. What happens next? The twins shared a look that seemed to contain galaxies. Now the real work begins. There will be more fear to overcome, more bridges to build, but no longer alone. As if in response to their words, a new ship emerged from hyperspace, a Nixian vessel unlike any Sarah had seen before. Its organic hull pulsed with patterns matching those of the hybrid children, a physical manifestation of the unity being forged. Our gift to both worlds, Nova explained, a ship that can only be operated by humans and Nixians working together, powered by the same energy that flows through us. The first of many, Orion added. Will you help us show them the way, Mother? Sarah looked at these extraordinary beings who had chosen her as their guardian, at her sister Helena approaching with hope replacing doubt in her eyes, at Lyra whose choice to love across boundaries had helped birth a new age. Always, she promised. Whatever comes next, we face it together. The hybrid children gathered around them, their combined consciousness touching minds across the sector, across the galaxy. They were no longer just a bridge between worlds, they were the architects of a new one. As the first joint human-Nixian crews began to board their new ship, Sarah felt the twins' satisfaction ripple through the mental link they all shared. This was more than victory. It was evolution, transformation, the dawn of something greater than either species had imagined possible. The storm had passed, and in its wake, the universe itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting to see what these children of two worlds would dream next. The story is not ending. Nova's thoughts touched everyone present. It is only beginning. And all are welcome to help write it. Orion completed the thought, his mental voice carrying across the stars. Sarah Chen, once a simple cargo captain, now mother to revolution and guardian of change, smiled as she watched humanity take its first true steps into a larger galaxy. The twins had shown them all that the greatest journeys begin not with a step, but with an opened heart. The dawn of unity had arrived, and its light would transform everything it touched, one understanding soul at a time.